Then the family was arranged by the subordinates to the guest room area of Wu's house. The Wu's villa occupies a huge area and is divided into 3 areas. One area is the area where the Wu family lives by themselves, the other area is dedicated to the subordinates, and the other area is dedicated to the guests. The Wu's villa was built by the family after buying a large area. The scale is several times the size of the Thompson villa. There are more than a dozen guest rooms, and it is easy to arrange them for a family of 5. The servants of Wu's family took them to the guest room area and gave them 4 rooms. Old Mrs. Wilson, Harold and Wendy each had a room, and Noah and Horiah lived together naturally. As soon as they returned to their respective rooms, Noah couldn't wait to hold Horiah in his arms, and said anxiously, "My wife, you have been wronged for long this time, and I missed you, wife." While talking, he wanted to take off the clothes of the red thread. Horiah was also very emotional in her heart. Having not seen her husband for such a long time, she suddenly reunited with him. Moreover, the two are also in the year of the tiger and wolf. But Horiah's heart is somewhat worried. She naturally believed that during the period of separation from her husband would definitely not mess around outside, and he did not have this energy, not to mention that he had been in the detention center for a long time. But she is not so loyal. When she was in the black coal kiln, she yielded to the overseer's lustful power and became his C0 concubine for a long time. She betrayed her husband almost every day. She was very worried that one day her husband would know all this, and then despise her and even get angry with her. So she made up her mind deep in her heart that she must take this matter to the coffin and never let anyone know. Before it got dark, Noah and Horiah were already in their guest room, and the sound of the waves still rose. Noah was really depressed during this period, and was separated from his wife for a long time, so he was extremely impatient. Horiah naturally loves her husband very much. She thought that she would never see him again in this life, but she didn't expect to have a chance to return to his embrace now, so she naturally catered to her husband with joy. But this was supposed to be a very harmonious scene, but Horiah's heart suddenly felt a sense of loss. The reason why she felt disappointed was because she felt that her husband's ability seemed to be much worse than that of the dirty supervisor. This is really depressing. One is the one she loves, and the other is the one she hates. But if she put aside these and simply talk about that, the 2 people she loved can't add up to the person she hates. After all, the other party was from a rough job. Although he was not too young, his physical fitness was really lacking. He was strong and powerful. Looking at Noah again, he was a little blessed, and he never exercised. After a few days in prison, he is still a little thinner. Otherwise, the big belly in the past would be very empty. So if really compare him with that supervisor, Noah can do the most with the other's 2 successful powers. This made Horiah feel that it was a little bit interesting. It was supposed to be a cloud and rain in Wushan, but now it feels like a spring rain that is as expensive as oil, and the land is wet after the rain. But she could only sigh in her heart. After all, she killed herself, she didn't want to go back to that dark place, and she didn't want to wait on the dirty and stinky overseer in that dirty brick house. In the evening, the servants of Wu's family invited them to the guest room dining room for dinner. Neither Regnar nor Dawson came over. They now regard the Wilson family as their subordinates, so it is impossible for them to come and accompany them to dinner. Halfway through the meal, the butler of the Wu family came over and said to Mrs. Wilson, "Our manager Wu asked me to tell you that he has already bought the Thompson Villa A04, and you are lucky. This villa was renovated and prepared to live by himself. The luxurious appliances are fully furnished. Mr. Regnar spent an extra 30 million to buy it, so you can move in tomorrow." When the Wilson family heard this, the excitement was overwhelming. The Lady Wilson couldn't control her trembling hands, and she threw both chopsticks away. After thanking the housekeeper a lot of kindness, Mrs. Wilson said to her family, "We have all seen Thompson's A-type villa. There are many rooms, enough for our family to live in. I am older and like it. It's a bit more spacious, so I want the largest room on the 3rd floor, and you guys pick the rest." Noah immediately said, "Then Horiah and I will have the largest room on the 2nd floor. Harold said, "Then I want the 2nd bedroom on the 3rd floor. Wendy said, "Then I will be on the 2nd floor." Okay. Mrs. Wilson nodded in satisfaction and sneered, "Don't their family think we are finished?" "I really can't wait to take a look. They know what we look like after we moved next door." Noah gritted his teeth and said, "That D*MN Elaine and Charlie, combined to calculate my wife and caused my wife to suffer so much. I must settle accounts with them." Horiah hurriedly said, "Are you crazy? Don't tell them about this matter." "Why?" Noah couldn't help frowning. Horiah immediately said, "At the beginning, I set up a set with Leanne to try to cheat Elaine, but she failed. Charlie calculated it instead. So if you count it like this, Leanne and I broke the law first. This incident has shaken out, and the police intervene, and they must have arrested me instead of arresting them." With that, Horiah thought about how Leanne was shot to death last night, and said nervously, "Leanne wanted to hit me last night, but was shot to death by the Wu family men. Now her family's still in that black coal pit. If the incident spreads and the police get the Leanne family out, they will definitely find me to avenge."